So here's a question for you. When did America decide that truck drivers don't have to speak English? That they don't have to follow the laws of the country they're driving in? Because that's exactly what's happening, and the result isn't just dangerous, it's deadly. You've probably seen the video. It's been circulating online.
This is the one that you'll take care of within 30 days, okay? And then just choose one of those options right there.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And this one right here is your inspection, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Drive safely, all right?
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one, sir.
I'm sorry, sir. And my first time.
No worries. I feel bad being the first guy to write you a ticket, but
Yeah.
you know, I try to help you
They
out.
said in the my no license in the ticket.
What's that?
They send the ticket in the no my credit.
I'm sorry. I guess I don't understand what
Maybe in the this my ticket in the my license.
Yeah.
Or how many years?
Don't quote me on this. I think a ticket will stay anywhere from 5 to 7 years, depending on what state you're from. Anywhere for that long, okay? Okay. All right. Have a good one.
This week, a driver gets pulled over, clearly struggling with English, telling the officer it's his first time getting a ticket. He barely understands what's happening. And yet, that same driver, the same system allowed him to be behind the wheel of a massive commercial truck. Days later, that same driver attempted an illegal U-turn on a Florida highway. 3 innocent people lost their lives. Now think about that. 3 lives ended, families destroyed, because Washington and the states that issued these licenses simply don't care whether the people driving 80,000-pound trucks can even read a stop sign. The facts are jaw-dropping. We now know this driver entered the country legally. Washington gave him papers. California issued him a so-called non-domiciled license, a workaround designed for people who don't actually live here. And when New Mexico pulled him over, they didn't even give him the required English proficiency test. They just waved him through. The DOT later confirmed the driver failed across the board, couldn't read signs, couldn't pass an interview, yet somehow still got the license. Why? That's the question. And you already know the answer. Politics, pressure, a system more interested in appeasing activists and trucking lobbyists than protecting you on the road. Truckers watching this already know. I've been flooded with emails and comments from drivers saying, "Kevin, get this story right. Tell the truth." And the truth is ugly. This video released by New Mexico State Police wasn't about safety. It was about covering themselves. A CYA move. They knew they had failed, so they pushed out this footage to make it look like they did their job. But everyone can see they did not. So let's be honest. Should someone who cannot read a road sign in English be operating an 18-wheeler? Would you let a pilot fly a plane without understanding air traffic control? Of course not. But for some reason, when it comes to trucking, the rules don't apply. And people die because of it. And there's another piece here no one wants to talk about. Listen to the footage closely. The driver actually understands more English than he lets on. He asks about credits, about how long a ticket stays on a record. He comprehends plenty. Which raises the question, is this man playing dumb? Is he pretending not to understand in order to avoid a harsher sentence? A legal strategy, maybe, but if that's the case, it makes the whole thing even worse, because it proves that he could comprehend enough to drive responsibly, but chose not to. This is where the system collapses. When federal investigators tested him, he failed. Yet on tape, he understands. Which is it? Was the government lying about his abilities to cover themselves? Or was the driver lying now, playing the victim to escape punishment? Either way, it's a disgrace. And notice what no one in Washington is saying. Nobody asks, why was he in the country illegally to begin with? Nobody asks, why did California create a special class of licenses for non-residents? Nobody asks, why did New Mexico let him go without the English test? Because to ask those questions is to admit the truth. Our government lowered the barrier to entry. They lowered standards. They sacrificed safety to serve their own political and financial agendas. If you listen to Charles Gracie, a former driver who now hosts on SiriusXM, he put it perfectly. When anyone with $300 and a laptop can become a carrier, when anyone can slide into this country, the entire system churns. Companies fold, drivers vanish, and innocent people die. He's right. If you raise the barrier to entry, make it harder, stricter, more demanding, you improve retention, you improve safety, and you protect the reputation of American trucking. But Washington won't do it because raising standards means fewer applicants, fewer licenses, and less money. So here's the reality. This is not just about one driver. It's about an industry being gutted by cheap labor and government too weak or too corrupt to enforce its own laws. Illegal entry, non-domicile licenses, failed English exams, and still the trucks keep rolling, carrying death with them. And the victims, they are not politicians. They're not bureaucrats. They're families sitting in traffic on a Florida highway, never knowing what was coming. They are you. So ask yourself, if driver can't understand the words stop, yield, or exit, do you want him barreling down the road next to your children? Because that's the choice Washington has already made for you. And until people demand accountability, real accountability, it's only a matter of time before the next first ticket turns into the next tragedy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.